Hello, and welcome to the English with Colin Podcast, a podcast for English language learners. My name's Colin. I'm an English teacher in Tokyo, and if you're looking to improve your English skills and gain more confidence in your ability to communicate in English, you've come to the right place. In these episodes, I'll provide you with short conversations in English that cover a range of topics, from everyday situations to more specialized subjects. These conversations are designed to help you practice your listening skills and pick up new vocabulary and grammar along the way. Regular listening practice is key to improving your English, and I hope this podcast will become a valuable resource for you on your language learning journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. And remember, the more you listen, the more you'll learn. This is episode 28, and today's topic is Tokyo retail therapy, breaking down the city's main shopping areas. Hello, Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I think if you had to say what the number one pastime is in Tokyo, I think shopping would be high up on the list.
I think so. I think you've said that when you ask your students, what's your hobby? What do you like to do in your free time? And shopping does come out a lot.
Yeah. And in fairness, Tokyo is a great place for shopping.
Absolutely.
A wide variety of stores, boutiques, also districts as well. It's kind of the topic of today, the fact that you've got very different types of shops in certain areas. So we can start at I guess we can start at the top. Ginza as a shopping area, very centrally located, not far from Tokyo Station. But yeah, it's quite a central location, and the gin. Can you remember what the gin in Ginza is?
It's gold, right?
No, silver.
Silver.
So it was a very important place for trading silver back in the day. And Japan, there was a while, Japan produced a lot of the world's silver. So yeah, for a long time, Ginza has been a place associated with money. And even today, it's high-end fashion, upscale department stores. So you've got things like Mitsukoshi and Wako, the big department stores. What are your thoughts on Ginza?
Ginza is nice. It does have loads of, like, the biggest shops of any, brand. You will find them there, I think.
Yes, we would call those the flagship.
The flagship
stores.
They're definitely there. The thing about Ginza, I think, you have to walk a lot. So it's a big area.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to go and just, walk around, but it is big. So maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's not necessarily as vertical. So if you're in Shinjuku or Shibuya, there's lots of very, very tall buildings. Mm-hmm. Ginza, the buildings are not so tall, really. There are some tall buildings, but there's a lot of horizontal distance. So yeah, you walk around Ginza, and it's a nice kind of grid pattern. It's quite easy to find your way around Ginza.
Yes.
It's quite easy to navigate. For me, Ginza, it feels like old money.
It is. It's elegant. It's simple. This kind of toned down sophistication.
Yeah, traditional.
The cars are very special because the cars are very expensive, but they're not flashy. You
Right.
wouldn't see Maseratis or these kind of show off kind of cars, but they're still very expensive, very, very good cars.
You're right. You'll see the very high-end Toyotas that are not called, they don't have a Toyota badge on them. They've got some other brand. So yeah, very, very high-end
luxury
kind
cars.
Luxury Japanese cars that are not available outside of Japan. So you'll see like, a 10 million yen Toyota something or other, but it doesn't look like a Toyota.
No.
So yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, if you want to buy a nice kimono, very expensive kimono, you'd go to Ginza.
Absolutely.
It's that kind of, it's old, it's traditional, it's classic. So yeah, it has some great restaurants in Ginza.
Yes.
There's the famous documentary, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Can you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Jiro. So this is a sushi master, and his restaurant is in Ginza Station. And it's a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Yes.
The documentary's well worth watching if people haven't watched it. Okay, Ginza. Where would you like to go after Ginza? Well, stay kind of high end. You've got places like Omotesando.
Omotesando is more modern than Ginza.
It's a younger vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
But still high end.
Very high end.
So yeah, you'll find a lot of high end clothing. I mean, I don't really know the high end clothing brands, but maybe you can help.
But I think you also find more boutiques, like smaller boutiques, not the big brands, not the big international brands. You can find smaller boutiques. Yeah.
Kind of one-off kind of boutiques, or
maybe, yeah. Smaller brands, definitely. High end, good, but you've never seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And they tend to be there as well in Omotesando.
Yeah, and the architecture in that area I think is quite interesting. You have some very sort of landmark buildings, some of the brands. I'm trying to think, is it Louis Vuitton? Do they have quite a spectacular building on Omotesando? I can't remember. But yeah, the buildings there, the buildings are not very tall, and that kind of means that, the buildings are kind of for one shop. Do you know what I mean?
It feels kind of like a residential area with very nice shops. Like it's not, the house has been converted into the shop.
Okay.
That's what it feels like. Because if you walk maybe 10 minutes around, straight, you'll be in a fully residential area.
Not even 10, like 2 minutes off the main street.
Yeah. So I think that's the vibe. That's how it feels. These kind of shops around Omotesando. Yeah,
I mean, if you get off that main street, that Omotesando sort of high street, really nice restaurants just around the corner. But the actual main street is very nice to just kind of stroll up and down. It's tree lined.
Yeah.
So on a hot day, there's nice shade from the trees, and that's where you're going to see the fancy cars. That's where you'll see the Ferraris and the Bentleys.
Yeah.
And the Maseratis and those kind of things. Yeah, Omotesando. When we came to Japan, I didn't tell you about Omotesando for several months because I knew that if you found out about Omotesando, then we might start spending a lot more money. But it's a lovely place to kind of walk around. And there's also the Omotesando Hills, which is a nice kind of department. Would you call it a department store? It's more of a mall. More of a mall, isn't it?
But a very central Tokyo type of mall.
One area that we used to go to a lot when we lived in Shinjuku was Roppongi,
Yes.
which has its own kind of thing. Now, Roppongi kind of has it's really got three sides to it. There's the nightlife side,
Yeah.
which we've never really got into the Roppongi kind of nightlife side of things. We do our nightlife activities in different parts of Tokyo. And then you've got the kind of business and diplomatic side.
There's a lot of foreigners living in Roppongi.
Yeah.
So a lot of the area is ready to give service to these kind of international residents.
Yeah, well, the point I'm trying to make is that there's lots of embassies.
Yeah.
There's lots of embassies around that area, and there's lots of foreign businesses have kind of their main branch or main office around Roppongi. So yeah, it's a very kind of international vibe. There's some areas where there's just all French restaurants, for example, or
Absolutely. Well, you have the Mori Tower, that is one of the landmarks of Roppongi, I would say. And yeah, a lot of big companies have their offices there.
That's true. Yeah, I think Google in
Google are there, yeah.
Mori Tower.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another side. And then there's the shopping side as well. And Roppongi's very good. I think it's a very nice area for shopping. Roppongi Hills. And there's the Tokyo Midtown.
Yes.
So those are two. They're about, 10-minute walk from each other?
Yeah.
And they're both very modern malls. Yeah, they're malls.
They are like little malls, yeah.
But
again, very central Tokyo type of mall.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which is kind of interesting. You kind of think that malls are out of the city centre, but these are kind of city centre malls, which is incredible to think about. Tokyo Midtown is probably newer. They're both quite new, but I think, I don't know, Tokyo Midtown, both of them have events.
They do, and they're really good events. Yeah. A lot of things happen there.
Yeah, they have a lot of outdoor space, surprising amount of outdoor space considering they're so central.
In Christmas is really nice there because they're lights, Christmas lights.
Oh, they have the Christmas lights in.
I think one of the best places.
They don't call them Christmas lights.
What do they call it?
It's the illumination.
The illumination, that's true.
Because Christmas isn't necessarily such a big thing. They do like winter
illumination.
They call it the winter illumination. And they go all the way up until February.
Yes, but Roppongi does it amazing. Yeah, I really like it. And they do have the Christmas market, which is quite nice. Yeah, and the area gets, it's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, they've got the nice views of Tokyo Tower.
Exactly.
As well,
yeah.
Which is a bit like a Christmas tree. Where else can we go? Shinjuku, Shibuya. Yeah, I mean, if you think about Shinjuku, we kind of mentioned malls, but department stores. Shinjuku, I think, is quite a good place to talk about department stores. So you've got places like Takashimaya, Lumine.
Lumine. And there's different Lumine, right? North Lumine.
Right.
Yeah, especially in Shinjuku Station. It's so big that the lumines there are different lumines around the station. Yeah.
So yeah, Lumine is kind of like a chain of department stores. So they have them throughout Japan, I guess, but certainly several throughout Tokyo. So where we live, there is a Lumine. There's also the very old, like Isetan, which is one of the oldest department stores, and that's proper fancy. Isetan.
Yes, it's more expensive, but they have also very interesting things. Lumine. Sorry, no, sorry. It would be Takashimaya is kind of halfway. So you will find really nice pieces and more expensive clothes, but you will also find other, like more affordable. Takashimaya is quite interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, you'll find, the one in Shinjuku, you've got Tiffany.
Yeah.
On the ground floor next to Louis Vuitton, next to whatever. And then you go a couple of floors up and you've got Tokyo Hands, which is, a kind of a little bit of everything kind of shop. So within that building, you do have an interesting kind of range of very, very expensive stuff. And then kind of more everyday things.
The Uniqlo in Takashimaya in Shinjuku is quite good. It's the top floor. But again, quite affordable. But at the same time, they have very big brands in other floors, like Ralph Lauren, for example.
Yeah.
So Takashimaya really has a variation. They also have a very good deli.
I think this is a nice kind of hack. I think we might have mentioned this before, but a lot of these department stores in the basement floors, and it could be one basement floor or a couple of floors, are kind of dedicated to food.
So you will have different shops that sell different types of food. They can be, a little bit of Chinese food. There's some salads. There's some fried food. And you just buy pieces, some sushi. And some of them are already packed, and some of them you need to order. It's not.
What do you mean order?
You order, for example, the salads. You can ask for 100 grams, or maybe the yakitori, the chicken. You can ask grilled chicken. You can ask for so many pieces, and it's quite good. Most of it, as I said, it's easy. Just grab it, pay, and go.
Yeah.
They also have supermarkets. One of some area would be dedicated to some sort of supermarket.
Yeah, I think that's one of the problems of living very, very centrally in Tokyo is affordable supermarkets. Is really, really tough. So if you live in Ginza, your supermarket is, one of these sort of department store basement supermarkets, which can be incredibly expensive. I mean, we've seen a single strawberry.
Yes.
And not a red strawberry, but a white strawberry.
Yeah.
For 1,000 yen?
Yeah.
Was it 1,000 yen for one strawberry?
For one strawberry.
And it was a white strawberry.
Yeah.
And did we try one? No. But my understanding is that there's not a lot of flavor out of these.
Well,
I don't know.
They don't look like much. They might be delicious, but we never really try them.
But but these department store supermarkets are very, very expensive. That's where you find the really stupidly expensive fruit, like the strawberries, but things like melons.
Yeah. These are more gifts.
Yeah.
So
like a melon for 30,000 yen or something.
These supermarkets are different. They're not your regular supermarkets. They have these fruits that are more for gifts. They will have more products that are imported. So you would find,
fancy Italian foods and
things like this.
Yeah.
But the deli is really good. You could eat, and the pastries they usually Isetan in Shinjuku has really good pastries. It has I remember one I really liked. It was like Indian food, and
samosas.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
I like to buy, and they were big.
They were big. They were the size of your fist. Yeah,
and they were delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isetan does have a lot of nice pastries. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting to kind of know the different options. And yeah, maybe we've talked a bit more of the sort of high end options here. But yeah, if you're coming here for retail therapy, then I think these are very good areas to explore. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English with Colin podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to the conversation and found it helpful in your language learning journey. Remember, the key to mastering a language is regular practice. So make sure you listen to our podcast regularly and keep honing your listening skills. We appreciate your support and feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future topics, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to joining you again next time for another conversation in English. Until then, keep practicing and take care.